Hello guys, welcome back once again in the new video of React Native. So in this video we will discuss the Flexboard. In my previous video I have already discussed the basics of the Flexboard and we have used many properties of the Flexboard. So if you did not watch my previous video of the Flexbox, I have given the link in the description box, so you must watch my previous video before watching this. So the next property of the FlexBoard is FlexWrap. So FlexWrap property is set on the container and it control what happens when children overflow the size of the container along the main axis. So what is the meaning of this? So we will use here. So now the emulator is showing like that. We have already run the application. So we have already added here 3 views. In my previous videos I have already explained about it. So we are using here 3 view inside the main view container. So I am taking here another views and now save it. So you can see here I am taking here another colors for easy to understand. Yeah, so now the screen is showing like that. So if I increase the width of each container, suppose I am taking here 100, 150, 150 and now save it. So it is the problem. And here we need FlexWrap. So now the children overflow the size of the container along the main axis because the view is going outside from the main container. So it is the situation of the overflow. So in this situation, children are the views we are using inside the main view. So in this situation, children are forced into a single line. So if wrapping is allowed, items are wrapped into multiple lines along the main axis. Suppose now I will use here flex wrap. So in the flex wrap, we have the option now wrap and wrap. So I am selecting here wrap and save it. So now check what will happen. Now you can check that now the items is showing on the multiple lines. So they are not going outside from the main view. So it is the benefit of the flex wrap. So another property of the Flexboard is align content. So we use here align content. So align content, what is the benefit of the align content? So align content define the distribution of lines along the cross axis. So this only has effect when items are wrapped to multiple lines using flex wrap. So without flex wrap this property will not be work. So we should be remember this always. Without flex wrap the align content will not work. So suppose I am using here flex start and now save it. So in the flex start all the items will be shown in the start of the main view. And if I am using here line content, so now I am commenting this line here and just using align content flex and now save it. So you can check that now the items is showing in the end of the screen at the bottom side because align content work with cross axis. So it will be show in the bottom of the screen. So I am using here flex direction is row. So suppose I am changing it here flex direction is column and now save this. So now the screen will be show like this. So again for the better understanding I am giving the same size to each view and save this. So the screen will be show like this in the end of the screen in the column wise. If I am giving here align content center, then all the items will be show in the center of the screen. And if I am giving here space between, then the space will be show. And if I am giving here space around, then it will show like this. So the space will be show in the left and right side. So the differences will be show when we increase the height here. Suppose I am giving here 100, 120 and 200. Suppose I am giving here 300 and given here 200. So now it will be show in the multiple lines. So the major benefit of the align content only effect when items wrap to multiple lines using flex wrap. So align content mostly we use with the flex wrap. So here we are using space around. So in the space around, so the multiple items will be show like this. So space will be show in the left and the right side. So if I am using here the another property is the stretch. So now the content will be show like this. Stretch wrap line to match the height of the container cross axis. So it will show in the starting of the screen. So we have other few very important properties of the FlexBox is the flex basics, grow and shrink. So actually flex basis is the axis independent way of providing the default size of the item along the main axis. So now we will use the flex basic, grow and shrink. So these are very important properties of the FlexBox. So suppose I am removing the bottom views for the better understanding. I am using here minimum views. I am using here just 3 views, and suppose I am using here. So actually flex basic and flex grow and flex shrink we usually use with child of the main view. So suppose I am taking here flex basic is auto and here flex grow is 0 and flex shrink is also 0, and the all three properties we will use in all the 3 views. Suppose I am copying this and I am taking here and here. Suppose I am taking here the flex basic is 100 and here I am taking flex basic is 200. And flex grow, what is the meaning of the flex grow? So flex grow accept any floating point value greater than 0, or it can be 0 but it cannot be less than 0. So with 0 being the default value, a container will distribute any remaining space among its children weighted by children's flex grow value. Suppose I am taking here flex grow is equal to 1 and here flex grow is equal to 0, 0, and shrink I am taking here 1. So what is the meaning of the shrink? So shrink is also accept the value greater than 0, or it can be 0 but it cannot be less than 0. So flex shrink is very similar to flex grow, and it can thought in the same way if any overflow size is considered to be negative remaining space. So actually these two properties also work well together by allowing children to grow and shrink as needed. Flex shrink actually decrease the size of the view or the children we are using inside the main view, and flex grow actually increase the size of the children we are using inside main view. So the shrink property only work when the flex shrink will be 1 or greater than 0. And flex grow is also work when the flex grow property will be greater than 0. So now I am saving this and here we will check. So I am using the first property is flex basic auto, and here I am using flex grow is equal to 1. Default height we are using here 80, but here I am taking height is equal to 80, and here I am taking here the greater height compared to the first and the second view. I am taking here the height is equal to 300, but here you can check that the height of the first view is greater because we are using here the property is flex grow is equal to 1, and here I am using auto. So the first view automatically adjusts the height according to the main view. So the second view is taking only the 80 height, and the third view is only taking the height is equal to 300. So the remaining height is adjusting in the view 1, because we are taking here flex grow is equal to 1. So suppose I am taking here flex shrink is equal to 0, and here I am taking flex grow is equal to 1, and now save this. So you can check the differences here. So now the third view is growing and its height cannot be less than 300, because here we are using flex grow is equal to 1. Yeah, so here suppose I am now taking flex grow is equal to 400. Here the second view we are taking 400, and flex grow I am using here 1, and in the 3 we are using 111, but here I am taking also a 400, and both is flex grow is equal to 1, and all the shrink is equal to 0. Suppose we want that the first view should be shrink, so we can use here 1. So now only the height of the first view will be decreased, but the second and the third view will maintain the height. Suppose I am saving this, and now you can check that first view is adjusting the height, but the second and the third view is maintaining its height. We are using here flex wrap, so it's showing in the multiple lines, but they are maintaining its height. Suppose we want to use this in the single line, so we can use here 200 and 200, and now save. So you can check that only the first view is adjusting its height. Suppose I am removing here auto and using 200, so all these are now using 200, but we are using here flex wrap. We can use here 0, and now save this. So you can check that only the first view is decreasing their size. Suppose I am increasing its flex basic, and now increase its height, and the flex wrap I am commenting. So now you can check that only the size of the first view is decreasing. Suppose I am using here 400, so the first view will decrease their size. So the view only grow when the flex grow is equal to 1. If the flex grow is equal to 0, so it will decrease its size. So suppose I am using here flex shrink is equal to 0. So now check what will happen. So you can check that now the size of the third view is cutting from the bottom. So they are not adjusting the whole size. So the flex shrink is very important. So we should always use flex shrink. So we can use here, suppose I am using here 0, and I am using here 1, and here I am using 1, and you can now save this. So you can check that now the third view is decreasing their size. Suppose I am using here 400, and now save it. So now the third view will decrease, and the first and the second view maintain its size. So it is the concept of the flex basic, grow and shrink. So I hope this video is very helpful for understanding the FlexBox. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching.